Hi, I'm Mo. And goddamn it, son of a bitch, I'm a whole hyped up on Coca-Cola, bitch. I'm like just a goddamn it, son of a bitch. Fuck.
And I'm TJ, and I'm recording this entire episode from an isolation tank.
And this is...
Hello? Hello? Well, I'm gonna get out of the tank. Oh, sorry, It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to the Student Us, damn it. I'm Mo, he's TJ, he just said, and we're here to watch every movie ever made to be invited to parties.
That's right.
Yeah. Is it working? Yes. I don't know.
So far, no good.
No. I think my mailman's messing with me.
How so?
Because I don't know, every time I see him, he always like waves like envelope in my face. But then every time I get close to him, he just drives away really fast.
Oh, that's pretty fucked up of the mailman to do
Yeah.
that. Give you some false hope.
Yeah.
He's probably stealing them and going to the parties himself.
It's true. He keeps on going nah right when I do it too. So yeah.
Dude, I just picture the mailman getting tipsy and has all the girls on him at the party and he's
Yeah.
saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen Dune 1984." You better believe
never
it.
seen Dune 1984. That Mo, man.
I've seen
Bullshit.
Clifford. Yeah.
Never seen Clifford. Okay,
Well.
we've seen Clifford. Okay, we went through Clifford. Okay,
Yeah,
we went through a lot of shit. Okay, we watched a lot of movies to invite to these goddamn parties, and it's still not has happened yet. I don't know when it will happen, but it will happen.
And it will be directly related to these movies.
To these movies, somebody will find out we watch these movies.
You watch Sense and Sensibility?
Yes, somebody will be like, yeah, definitely.
That's right.
And they'll be like, yeah. You watched Licorice Pizza? It's like, yes, we did. And they'll be like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Oh, nobody's ever seen Licorice Pizza before. I know, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you want to come to a party? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
And we'll be there.
Yes.
And we'll be here to the party.
Let me tell you about the private life of Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
What an assortment of, I don't want to say garbage because most of the movies we've watched are not garbage, but what a wild assortment and variance of movies.
Yeah, there's no really order where we do things. It's just randomness.
It's chaos.
It's chaos.
Definitely.
I've been really thinking about, we have a wheel system of just collect movies, of ideas of movies, and I'll spin the wheel one time, and then that would be our selection of movies.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Where we don't pick movies, we just let the wheel decide.
Let the wheel decide, yeah.
All right.
Just decide our next movies.
We can workshop that.
We can workshop it. But we will be invited to parties. It will happen because of this podcast and nothing else. Not our personalities, not how nice we are, not because of our coworkers, because of this podcast.
Dude, we haven't even so much has been invited to an isolation tank.
We have not. No isolation parties.
No,
not one bit.
Yeah.
Well, enough of that. TJ, it's now time to enter banter time. 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 Enough! Okay. We have now entered banter time. We now came banter.
But Mo, what are we going to talk about? The football season is over.
I don't know.
What's a sport or a type of entertainment that goes year-round?
I don't know. I think this one where men wear tights. The ring.
Yeah.
It's announcers. I think it's called pro wrestling.
Any news from the world of pro wrestling these days? Any retirements of legends or a cancellation of major stars of other companies because of potential bad behavior on their parts?
Not that I can think of. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. Sting, the legend himself of over 35 years of wrestling, has just had his last match.
What was it, Revolution?
Revolution.
How
this
was
weekend.
Revolution? Tell me
it
about
was awesome.
Yeah? Good show?
Yeah. The only bad match was the women's championship match. That's because, not because of Toni Storm. It was because of her opponent. I found her just to be a lame duck. She can do moves. That's cool. But, you got to add some spice to it.
Toni Storm's legit.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole wrestling pay-per-view was awesome.
Good.
Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia was great.
Nice.
Opening match.
I'm sure he won. I'm sure Christian Cage won cleanly.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Did he really?
No.
Okay, good.
Not one bit. No.
Good. I would have been upset if he had.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston beat Daniel Bryan.
Oh.
Sorry, Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
Yes. Which was awesome. He earned his respect. Let's see what else. The Scramble was okay. Wardlow won. That's good. Let's see what match happened next.
Darby Allin.
I
keep seeing photos of him on a bunch of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was insane. Who
did he face?
He faced the Young Bucks with Sting.
Oh, that's right. That was part of the Sting. Duh. Okay.
Yeah. The championship match, the triple threat match was good. Let's see who else. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Kitesuka was amazing.
How could that be bad? Honestly,
it can't be bad. It wasn't bad. It was great. Good. Yeah. Let's see what other matches were there. I think there was one more. I'm forgetting. I think I'm going through all of them. I don't know. Well, I don't know, but it was a great show. Definitely check out Revolution if you haven't. Especially Sting's last match. It was, I don't know. He's 6 years old, so it was just chaos. It was pure chaos. Darby Allin jumped off a 20-foot ladder into a plate of glass onto chairs. Sting fought off Young Bucks by himself. It was great, and had a very emotional ending to it. It's like one of the weird instances where a wrestler goes up on top. Usually, it's the old saying goes, you go out on your back. You lose. So yeah, it was great. The way he wanted to go out, he got out. So that's good for him.
Good.
Let's see what else. Okada's in AEW. He premiered last night. That was awesome.
Okay.
Swerve Strickland's still going after the world title. And what was the main event? Will Ospreay versus what's his name? Will Ospreay faced one of his stablemates, and it was amazing. It was great. So yeah.
Good.
So keep on watching AEW if you guys haven't. It is great. Who's the wrestler that's going to get canceled, TJ? I haven't heard of him.
Oh, not canceled, but there's speculation that a former MMA heavyweight champion of the world, he's probably not coming back anytime soon.
Is his name Brock Lesnar?
It is.
Yeah, and his name and also his crime may be human trafficking.
Okay, well, from what I read, he didn't meet with anybody, but
he almost got trafficked.
He almost trafficked.
Almost
trafficked. He almost partook in
it. Partook in trafficking.
And then the other noteworthy story I saw was Vince McMahon has been partially blurred in WWE 2K24, the video game, which is kind of funny.
Does he have that weird mustache?
I don't know. I've just seen some of the screenshots of the blurred parts, which is like actual, real footage.
Yeah.
So not in-game footage, but real-life footage, and they blurred his face out. I mean, what a mess. There's no way that you can scrub him from the history of that company. You just can't.
It's his company. He can't do it, yeah.
And then it's a shame, too, that, we've known for a long time that, maybe Vince isn't a great guy.
Yeah. Maybe he's a psychopath who plays a psychopath on TV, but in real life he's also a psychopath. So.
And has the sense of humor of, like, a fifth grader.
Yeah.
He's a remarkable individual.
Of, like, how he would love it when people get pushed into pools. That was his type of sense of humor.
No, but it makes sense. It tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at some of the stuff in the Attitude Era and, like, the transition, that awkward period with the Triple H Reign of Terror, the transition from Attitude to Ruthless Aggression, a lot of dumb shit that I'm sure Vince.
That's when I grew up watching.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a miracle you are even a professional wrestling fan today.
That is true. Well, like all professional wrestling fans, we got into it when we were young. Mm-hmm. Then middle school and high school came. It was like, I don't watch wrestling. What? It's for nerds. Oh, I'm a cool guy. Want to listen to the Smiths? Yeah, let's go.
The Smiths and wrestling are definitely associated with.
Then in college, I realized, wait, other people like wrestling, and I was like, oh wait, I can watch wrestling again, and I did, and I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Hell yeah, it's good stuff. But it's funny. A couple weeks ago, I was with my dad and brother, and we recalled that we went to a Raw taping at the Joe Louis Arena back in 2002. And we found it on on Peacock, and we watched the episode of Raw in its entirety. This was the episode with the casket match between Triple H and Kane, smack dab in the middle of that white-hot Katie Vick storyline.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother was in, like, 3rd grade at the time, too. Yeah. So my dad's just cringing at, like, he didn't realize what he was taking us to necessarily. It opens the show with the Hurricane showing footage of Triple H in the hospital, quote-unquote Triple H getting things removed from his rectum. It's great. It's so fucking bad.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I watched Live Sex on WWE.
Classic.
That's classic Edge and Lita having live sex.
Yes.
I probably watched that episode.
2 Hall of Famers. That's a classic moment.
It's a classic moment. I watched it.
I
was probably like 9 years old or something.
Let me tell you, I was older than you. I watched it in slow motion.
Yes.
Let me tell you, son. But no, it's a shame with the whole, I don't want to say the whole Vince thing because that minimizes just how horrific that man is. But at least there's good stuff going on in ring in the company, and you like to think that the people in charge now are clean. I don't fucking know. But
I don't know.
Here's hoping. I hope Cody Rhodes finishes the story. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, though. Honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I feel like he was supposed to finish the story a long time ago, but they just
Yeah.
keep on extending it. So now it's just like, when
Yeah.
I'm going to finish the story.
I've heard talk that he might even be in favor of not ever winning it because it would be like his dad. And like
His dad won the title, though, 2 times.
the WWE championship.
Not WWE championship,
That's
but
the
he
one
won the
he never
NWA
won.
heavyweight championship.
Yeah. I think the whole finish the story though, isn't that winning WWE championship specifically?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I think that's his story. It's not his father's story.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
the reason why, okay, so he got hired because the territories were under. Vince McMahon hated Dusty Rhodes, maybe because of the competition and stuff like that. So he decided, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to dress you up in polka dots.
Polka dots, yeah.
And so he's like, okay, I'm going to take it and make it the most popular thing ever. And that's what Dusty did. Because there's Dusty Rhodes,
And that's
baby.
why Dusty was so great. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Booking-wise, not that great. But in reaction-wise, great.
Oh yeah, on the mic.
On the mic,
Nobody does it
wrestling-wise,
better,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, anyway, this isn't a wrestling podcast. Well, it could be. It'd be just as original
Could be,
as a
yes.
movie podcast.
Yes, but we know. But we also still need to talk about books and movies and stuff.
I
okay?
know. I've been pretty lazy. I've been rewatching Twin Peaks.
Oh.
Slowly but surely, which, if you've been listening to this podcast, you'll know I'm not the biggest David Lynch fan, but I love Twin Peaks. It's just got a quality about it
Yeah.
that I just love. It's a good show that once you've seen, if you rewatch it, it's a good show to watch late at night to help you fall asleep. And I don't mean that as a dig. It's just got this, at least early on, it's just got this small town,
Feel
low
to it,
energy
comfort.
feel, but it's a good, yeah, exactly. It's a comfort thing, even though
Yeah.
it's about this horrific murder.
Yeah. Then that one guy sings that terrible song, and then
Yes,
I
exactly.
used to actually thought that song was good. I was like, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is actually a good song. And then I listened to it, I'm like, oh no, this is a
It's
terrible
not a good
song.
song,
No, it's
no.
not a good song at all.
But I've been watching that. I watched Escape from New York last weekend with
Ah.
my dad and brother.
That's
Good
good.
movie.
I have a friend whose favorite movie is Escape from LA.
Fantastic.
It's great.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Is there a surfing scene?
Yes, there's a surfing scene. There's a basketball scene.
Nice.
Yes, it's amazing. Bruce Campbell's in it.
Nice.
One of the worst Bruce Campbell performances you've ever seen because they
Damn.
took out all his charisma
Damn.
and charm to him and just
Damn.
made him an evil bad guy.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's it's
Damn.
not
That's
good.
not how you book. It's not how you book Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell, just so to
No.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Other than that, still watching through Taxi, I guess.
That's cool.
I've been back in school, so I got all that garbage clogging up my time.
School's for fools,
It is
TJ.
it is for fools. God damn it, I feel stupid.
Yeah.
How about you?
For me, I've been watching some movies. I watched the newest Dunes,
Good.
Dune 1 and Dune 2, and they were fantastic.
Good.
I must say, way better than David Lynch Dune, even though I do like that one. It's still very good. It's just weird because we watched the Dune film, and the Dune film's all the first half of the 1984 version. All the first half, and then it just cuts through the second half, like, so fast. So you watch the first Dune, and you're like, okay, I know what happens here, because I've seen the original Dune. And I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen in Dune Part 2, because we didn't get to watch that. We just got the sped up version of it. And it's nothing like the David Lynch version at all. But one thing, there's not, there's no Sting, so that's disappointing.
That is a bummer.
That is a bummer, you know.
No
know.
Sting.
No Sting.
No Patrick Stewart.
No Patrick Stewart, no, nothing like that.
Kyle MacLachlan.
No Kyle MacLachlan. But, you know, it's still amazing. It was probably one of the best sci-fi movies I have ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I say it's definitely an Oscar contender. It could be the first fantasy sci-fi film, genre film to win an Oscar, to win Best Picture since Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be the first one since that film to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Because I think that was the last fantasy or sci-fi or like horror movie to ever win an Oscar, right?
As far as I can remember, for Best Picture,
For
anyway.
Best Picture, yeah. All I can think of is mostly dramas, you know.
Mhm.
Well, technically, The Shape of Water, that
Sure,
counts, right?
Sure.
But
a franchise movie, you
a
could say.
franchise movie, you can say that. Or at least hardcore sci-fi. I mean, I was saying that Shape of Water is not sci-fi. It's about a fish man falling in love with a woman. That's definitely more of the drama side than the sci-fi.
Yeah, but the
action.
science fiction is less of a. It's more of. I guess more of a framing device for the drama, I guess.
Yeah.
Than an apt. I don't know. There is a distinction, though. I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
me
still
too.
grounded in our real world, more or
Yeah.
less.
Mhm.
Whereas Dune is completely out of this world.
Yeah. Were you paying attention? Were you a Lord of the Rings guy growing up? I know you.
I saw all the movies in theater and really respected them and did enjoy them, but I'm not big into high fantasy typically,
Mhm.
so I hadn't watched them in years. And then just past in 2023, I actually went through and I said, I'm going to watch the extended versions. And I watched
Ooh.
the extended versions. Outstanding movies. They really are. Again, they're never going to be my thing. I'm never going to be the type of person that watches them yearly. But hot damn, are they good, man?
Yeah.
They're very, very well made. And I think that if you go back and you look at especially Fellowship of the Ring and, well, I guess all of them, I think that they helped shape modern movies, especially in terms of franchise movies. You look at the MCU movies and just how they're filmed technically, I think a lot of that comes from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen them since they've been released. I probably saw them when I was little. I probably wasn't even paying attention half the time while watching them. They're over there.
Nice.
Over there, right over there. But the audience can't see this, but I am pointing to a corner of my basement where a bunch of DVDs are, and they're right there.
Why? Where? By all the sex toys?
Yes, by all the sex toys.
Oh.
Yes, next to all the chains and whips. It's right there. That's my Goiter belt.
Oh, I see it next. Okay, yeah. I was distracted by all the headless dolls.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Cool.
Right next to the headless dolls. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So they're over there.
Yeah, give them a watch sometime.
Give them a watch them again.
When you have a free 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I watched Dunes. Those were great. I rewatched The Philadelphia Story.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
Nice.
Always watch The Philadelphia Story. Not High Society, which was the remake that they made in the 1950s with Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, I think? No, no. It was Bing Crosby. No, yeah, Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. Yeah, and Grace Kelly. Even though that movie's good, and I heard, I forgot who's there's like a jazz singer in it, and like he says like, end song, start movie. I'm like, that's the best, and then people say that's the best way to start a movie.
That is a good way to start a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, but the Philadelphia Story is undefeated. Definitely watch that. Definitely one of the best, probably Jimmy Stewart performance ever. And the probably best drunk performance you've ever seen before.
All right.
I watched Poor Things. That was amazing.
Nice.
That was great. Very hardcore sex scenes in that.
Ooh.
Was not expecting that.
Ooh.
But Emma Stone gave an amazing performance. So did Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
I feel like Mark Ruffalo is just like, I've been the fucking Hulk for 10 years. I gotta just set up my acting skills now. And so he just like, screw it, I'm gonna do it all right here.
Yeah.
And like he gave out his best performance I've seen in years of him. So yeah. That was good. I just said if you want to see Poor Things, do that. The Oscars are coming up, I think the next week or this weekend. We probably just gave our best pictures stuff, but to be honest with you, we have not seen mostly any of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture. I've only seen Poor Things. That's about it. I can't really think of anything else right now. But, maybe next year, or maybe we'll react to the Oscars after they're done. But yeah, that's mostly it. Reading-wise, I've been rereading Mouse.
Nice.
Yes, the horrific graphic novel.
Yeah.
About Art Spiegelman. So yes, Art Spiegel. Yeah, no, that's the name. Art Spiegel. Yes, his father's experience during the Holocaust. And Auschwitz, but instead of drawing them like human characters, they're mice and cats.
Nice.
Which actually gives a representation of I don't know, like maybe innocence, but also gives a good metaphor of how the Germans probably saw the Jews as rats, and they wouldn't be cats. So that's also, but also it's a very harrowing story, very deep look into the Holocaust themselves from the person who experienced it, and the person and his son who has to deal with the aftermath of a person who survived the Holocaust and what's it like for him, because So yeah, go check out Mouse. That's great. I'm reading multiple books right now. I read a Spider-Man story last night. That was good. I don't know which volume it is, but it's about the story right now. Spider-Man is facing the Kingpin. The Kingpin wants a tablet for some reason, and people think that the Kingpin and Spider-Man are in cahoots because they saw Spider-Man leave with the tablet.
Yeah.
And so now Spider-Man's trying to return the tablet, clear his name, and make sure the Kingpin goes down. Which he has done that right now. I don't know how the story is going to continue with that, but I can definitely see. I don't know if it's going to lead to the volume where Spider-Man quits, but I gotta wait and see.
I won't spoil anything for you then.
Yeah, I really like this. Like ever since reading comics and watching the cartoons, like I can easily follow the story now better than I could before. So it's weird. It's actually that's what comics are. It's like you're watching a live cartoon just in picture form. So yeah, it's actually really good. And yeah, I would tell Stan Lee's writing is really good. I know people. Stan Lee has been praised throughout the years. In comics, he's been in movies constantly. People always reference him. he's Stan Lee. You know, you see him in the movie. You know, I think some people criticize Stan Lee in the comic community. I'm not exactly sure of what. Maybe they think his writing's unoriginal, or that he takes advantage of cartoonists, of draws instead of him taking all the credit instead of them, which I believe is why Steve Ditko did not complete the following Spider-Man and somebody else took it over. So I think that. But it really shows like Stan Lee crafted a really well story. I mean, I'm reading it and this is really engaging. So.
Oh, definitely. I don't think it's like a Bob Kane thing. Like Bob Kane, who kind of just stole all the credit for Batman from Bill Finger. I get that there's some kind of, that Stan Lee probably did take more credit maybe than he, it's kind of like he was just the face of it all. He was the charismatic personality, so it just made sense for him to kind of take the bulk of the credit for it at the time.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I think he was still more involved with, the whole process than a Bob Kane was. But.
Yeah, I think like people just complain that like you can take comics into a whole new art of storytelling.
Yeah.
And, he was still sticking with like the regular comic stories of like superhero bad guys must defeat the good guy. Good guys must defeat the bad guys.
Yeah.
But other artists were like, no, we can make this, expand this media into something else bigger. We can tell serious stories, make it more realistic, make it more brutal and stuff like that. And Stan Lee, wasn't. I don't know exactly, but maybe he wasn't like that. Maybe he focused more on
Listen, true believer.
Yeah, exactly.
People need to escape the horrors of the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I'm not saying that, so I don't know the exact workings of the comic industry. I know it's very tough. It's hard. Millions, thousands of people have been screwed by it.
Say what you will about him, but he was a necessary force in the comics world. There's no question.
I'm not against Stan Lee. I'm just saying.
No, of course. And I don't think most people are.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind sometimes it's a skill to be the face of something.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. My favorite Stan Lee clip I was seeing on the internet. It's him and the guys who made Spawn, Todd McFarlane, and one of the guys who made Wildcats in the 90s. And they're just making these big guys with all these weapons and stuff and like that. And Stan Lee's like, who is this guy? Where's his mask? Where's his face? Where's his mask? Who is he? And and they're just like, he's Death Tour. Like, what do you expect? I'm like, where's his character? Where's everything else? Like, who's this? How is he walking? I'm just like,
I think I've seen that. I think you may have shown me that before. Yeah. Well. He had old school sensibilities.
Oh yeah, Bob Liefeld. That was it. It was Bob Liefeld.
Sure.
McFarlane, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had old school sensibilities that probably just didn't mesh with the Todd McFarlane style.
Yeah.
But who knows? At that point, it could have been defensiveness too. Sometimes people get defensive when they realize that they're the outdated one.
That's true.
Yeah, you never know.
You don't know. When he was Stanley, was like, rest in peace. Yes. Yeah, but besides that, still got the Kevin Wilson books I got to read. I got picked up a biography on Reggie Watts, the comedian / musician, who was he was the band leader for the Late Late Show with James Corden for a little bit. But also he was on Comedy Bang Bang. He's hilarious. I got a Bruce Springsteen biography. I gotta read. I got like a bunch of books I gotta read. It's just stacking up.
Sounds like a real problem.
Yeah.
Hopefully that stack doesn't fall on you.
Hopefully it doesn't, TJ. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, but that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed Banter Time. I don't know if this is the most entertaining Banter Time we've ever had, but we did banter.
We did banter. You guys can't tell us
we didn't fucking banter. We killed the fucking banter.
We have it on tape.
We have it on tape.
Sons of bitches, you stupid ass mother.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that concludes
Banter Time. 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 Enough! Okay. There you go. End of Banter Time. It's now time to start the show. TJ, what movie are we watching this week?
This week we watched Altered States.
Ooh, Altered
States. From 1980.
Ooh, that's fun. Yes. Directed by Ken Russell of Tommy and the movie Horror.
Oh.
He's made a movie called Horror.
Cool.
That's great.
This released on Christmas of 1980. Because I was just... Yeah.
What a fun Christmas movie to go with the family.
What a thing to take the family to, yeah. I was just about to say, I wonder if this was one of John Lennon's last pictures that he got to see. But he passed away on the 8th of December.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to...
he might have enjoyed this.
He could have enjoyed it, yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to like I hear stories of like when people would rent VHSs, they only have like one or two, buy or rent ones, and if it's a really sexy like noir thriller or like something like that, they would just watch it constantly, even with the parents involved. Like you would watch like Basic Instinct, and it'd be your parents, and then you sitting down and keep on watching Basic Instinct.
That's what I want to watch with my parents.
So you would watch like these sexy like thrillers from the '90s, and your parents would just buy you.
Speaking of, I was going to take my parents to see Poor Things.
Ooh.
Should I do that?
No.
Oh.
No. That'd be awkward.
Okay.
Not do that. Yeah. Written by Patty Chachowski, Network, and Paint Your Wagon, a movie I do not know about except that one Simpsons
the
joke.
Simpsons episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Gonna paint your wagon. Gonna paint it.
Lee Marvin, he has to kill somebody. He just sings.
Classic.
I have no idea if that's a good movie or not. I just like that joke. Starring William Hurt of The Accidental Tourist and Lost in Space, 1998.
He was proud of that.
He was proud of that. I think the perfect role for him because he looks like a cyborg / lawyer. So
he really does.
Either he's a lawyer or a cyborg, which I don't think he was in Lost in Space, but he probably should have been.
No, I don't think he was.
No. Blair Brown of Continental Divide, which was one of John Belushi's last films. I did not know that.
Okay.
Yeah. And The Astronaut's Wife. Charlize Theron and Johnny Depp.
Interesting.
Yes. Bob Balaban from Waiting for Guffman and Lady in the Water.
Ooh.
Yes. Exciting. Yes.
And Seinfeld.
And Seinfeld.
Yes.
Yes. And from a lot of other Christopher Guest movies and like a bunch of other too.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Definitely. I did not get the man who was the screaming like doctor detection.
Yeah, the guy that was like in charge of the medical stuff at the school or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't get his name, unfortunately.
Let's see. His name was Charles Hayde.
Ooh, Charles Hayde. I hope he had a good acting career. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was the best of all. Well, TJ, we found out who's directed it, written it, and starred in it. TJ, what the fuck is this movie about?
While studying schizophrenia, psychopathologist Eddie Jessup, under the belief that the disease allows the affected to experience an alternate state of consciousness no less real than our waking states, subjects himself to a bevy of self-experimentation involving sensory deprivation. So obsessed is he with his research that even when he's set up with Emily, a young PhD student who is immediately attracted to him, he can't shut the fuck up about his work even for a minute. At her coaxing, the two eventually marry. Flash forward 7 years, and Eddie and Emily now have 2 daughters, but they're on the brink of separation to follow different scientific pursuits. Upon learning of an indigenous tribe in Mexico that undergoes a ritual of group hallucination, Eddie plans to meet with them and join in their ceremony. He does, and the experience taps into a primal consciousness of his. Even after returning to America, Eddie continues to take the hallucinogenic brew until its toxicity proves dangerous, prompting arbitrary instances of bodily transformations that force him to question his own reality. Consequently, he returns to sensory deprivation, now using an abandoned isolation tank in a medical school's basement. In conjunction with the toxins in his bloodstream, the isolation tank causes Eddie to physically devolve into a caveman-like creature who terrorizes the school's overnight security guard and ends up at a local zoo where he slaughters a goat before blacking out and turning back to his human form. Though he somehow dodges legal ramifications for this, he can't escape pleas from Emily and his colleagues to cease his experiments. He presses on with another experiment in the isolation tank, which ultimately transforms him into a primordial, gooey being. The resulting energy Eddie creates incapacitates his colleagues and nearly envelops him until Emily saves his physical form by embracing him. Back at home and under Emily's care, Eddie, without provocation or any potion or sensory deprivation, begins devolving into pure energy once again. Emily urges him to fight back against the consuming force, but he is unable, however, until the energy latches onto Emily, threatening to remove them both from existence. This spurs Eddie into overcoming the transformation, and through the power of love, shout out to Huey Lewis, he saves Emily by embracing her as the lovers revert to their human forms as the movie comes to a close. In the end, some mild hilarity ensues. Mainly, though, just from that Charles Hayde character.
A tale as old as time.
It really is.
One man becomes a primordial ball of energy, and a woman reaches out to save them, and they fall in love.
That was my biggest problem. Is this? We've seen this so many times.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times. Exactly. It's just like how many times can a man become a ball of pure energy, and then a woman tries to save him? It's just like it's been done so many times. Repeated.
And is the message about this that the man will change once they're both threatened by this, or like he?
I think so. I think the message is that a man would never say "I love you" unless he's in a mortal danger, becomes a giant ball of energy.
Yeah, actually, that was. Hold on, I wrote this right here. I think the moral of the story is a man will finally change his behaviors and settle for loving you once he's tripped his balls off enough times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Great message.
Great message. Okay, so Altered States, Ken Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this. Okay, so I chose this film. I'm not really seen any Ken Russell films. I know of his, let's say, not infamy, because he hasn't done anything bad. It's just like his movies are very weird. They're very out there, very imaginative. I first heard of him about the movies The Devils.
We're the devils.
We're the devils.
Don't mess with the devil, buddy.
Which is not about the New Jersey Devil hockey team.
Oh.
It is about I don't know what it's about. I heard it's crazy. There's like rape, torture, a bunch of other stuff. It's very cool. He made Tommy, as I said before, the Who movie Tommy. Made Listomania. His movies are very out there, very creative, very colorful also sometimes. And I've heard, and I always want to watch one of these movies because they're weird and freaky. And this succeeded. It did. Because this movie's insane. Like, it is a ball of energy. There's no stop to it. I watched this. Yeah, so I watched this movie in two halves. The first half, I realized that our recording was coming up. I had to watch it. I could have watched it on the weekend, but I just didn't. I just totally forgot. And so I watched it. The first half was at 7:30 in the morning, which is weird. To watch Ken Russell film, and then I watched Dune 2, and then I finished watching this movie at 10:30 at night, which is also weird because you got Dune 2, and then you just got Ken Russell. Two definitely, like, weird sci-fi, and then you also have weird sci-fi. So that, yeah. But in a completely different way.
Weird sci-fi, body horror, domestic drama, I don't know.
And Dune's an epic war sci-fi battle.
Right. And also a tale as old as its time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. One man meets spice, one man wants spice. It's just like...
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Just can't get enough of that spice, man.
No.
Can't get enough of that spice. So this movie blew my expectations away. I knew it was going to be weird, and it definitely delivered. It was just, I don't know if, like, I'm trying to think of it like the other weird movies we watched, like Wild at Heart. I love that movie because it was also weird. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I could connect to this movie that well, also because of the weirdness. I didn't connect with it that well. Mm-hmm. Because mostly, it's the fastest talking movie I've ever seen before in my life. I have some notes. Let's see if I can pull them up. Okay. I call it Beetlejuice and music video-esque delusions. Every time I saw them, I'm like, this is definitely looks like it could have been the Black Hole Sun music video at any certain points of this movie. I'm guessing a lot of directors took influence from this because you can definitely tell. But also, it's very cheap looking. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the budget of it. I didn't write it down, but my guess is probably $6 million.
I got it for you. Oh, no, sir. It's $14.9
million. And, well, I don't know, from 1980s, especially effects back then, they're still very haunting, the images I saw. I would say that. Mm-hmm. I would say they look cheap, but also it adds to what the movie is about, the chaotic energy of it all, the weirdness of it, it adds to it. So I'm not saying the scenes deter it at all because they look cheap or anything like that. I know it's the 1980s, you're not going to get that much of the special effects and stuff like that. But it definitely adds to the movies. Yeah, like all I knew from this movie was that it's Altered States. You're gonna get William Hurt doing some weird stuff in the Century Deprivation thing. I didn't expect him to become a fucking caveman.
That caught me off guard.
I didn't understand that. I didn't. I was just like, I
thought it was I thought it was going to be a fairly straightforward drug, psychedelic.
I thought the whole movie was just gonna be him, like, seeing things that aren't there, and this like his mind's gonna just keep on messing with him and stuff like. Mm-hmm. But no, it actually transforms him from the inside.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that. I didn't understand it at all. You just see him become a fucking caveman, and it's like, how's that? I don't understand how you hallucinating makes you a caveman.
Yeah, I don't understand how he escapes legal ramifications for knocking out the security guard.
Yeah, almost killing the security guard.
Yeah, almost killing him. Then killing a goat at the zoo.
I don't know. Who's gonna believe that he was the caveman? Well, it's kind of like that's the whole part of it. It's insane. Like, who's gonna believe?
I guess.
If you take psychedelics that was made in a cave in Mexico for a while, you would then be able to regurgitate back into the state of early man and become a caveman. You know, like, who's going to believe that? Like,
it is worth noting, too, that in 1980, there probably weren't security cameras everywhere.
No.
Because this is before, like, the Tylenol pill issue. And from what I understand, that's kind of, like, even that was well before security cameras.
Yeah.
And, so I guess they really wouldn't be able to tie him to that. But, you know.
Yeah.
You'd think that they might put some pieces together, but who knows?
Who knows, yeah. All right, well, let's start from the beginning. We meet these characters, William Hurt, Bob Babalon's character. I believe there's in the sensory identification tank in New York City in like the 1960s.
Columbia University.
Yes. We meet these guys. William Hurt's the hotshot professor. You know, he's a genius, but he's insane. You know, that's all he talks about. He's insane. Like, I'm insane. I'm crazy. Don't get close to me.
And it's not
insane.
charming. I didn't think it was charming.
Yeah,
like either. there are some obsessive characters that are that are so fixated on what their livelihood is, and it kind of comes off as charming. But with him, I didn't necessarily catch that.
Yeah, I felt like he was a very handsome man, and he had a PhD, and I guess this Leigh Brown's character was attracted to that. I mean, William Hurt. I mean, he wouldn't be.
Oh, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, definitely.
But one of my first notes here was that they go from meeting to dating to screwing to marrying to having children to divorcing in record time. I mean, that's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the movie.
This guy's been working on this for like 10 years.
Right, like maybe you could have, cut some of that and started it maybe when they were married. I don't know. I'm not going to tell Ken Russell how to do his job.
Yeah.
But, it just seemed so breakneck speed at the beginning of the movie.
I kind of feel like it wasn't necessary to have this like long relationship. Because I feel like you could have had like this, have them meet, and then have them fall in love, and then still have the moment where they have to fight for each other's love, and you don't need to have like a long connection to each other, because it's the movies, during that period you still could have like the love at first sight,
Yeah.
That's also too.
Did he really love her?
That's the thing. Well, I think
it seemed so one-sided.
In the beginning, and definitely at the end, they found love in a broken place. But
that's very true.
That's very true. But in the beginning, I think he was this, like you said, he's psycho. Like, I'm psycho. Like, I have no attachment to other things except my work. Like, once, like, what is divorce any minute, stuff like that. And then that happened, I guess he's very analytical instead of just, like, thinking with emotions and stuff like that.
I mean, to be fair, I guess they were a very progressive couple in that, like, when they get separated, neither of them seems to be, like, that torn up about it. And it's just, like, so she can go to Africa or whatever it was to study her thing, and he can go he can go to Mexico and trip balls.
It's just amazing. Like, all this leads up to is a love confession. You have to go through all this shit just to be like, I can't live without you.
Yeah. Which, for our listeners, I don't know too much about love, but I will say, before you have children, make sure that you're with the person you want to commit to.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Probably a good rule, yeah. So anyway, they meet at the party, they get married, 7 years later, they're divorcing, and William Hurt's still obsessed with, like, trying, I guess, to unlock the secrets of the mind. I don't know. He was going so fast. Yes, I can't tell what was going on.
It is going really fast, and he drops a line about how he works with schizophrenics because he thinks that madness or insanity is just an altered state of reality, no different or less real than what we experience as a waking state. So he believes that schizophrenics and people who, for instance, are tripping on acid, shrooms, whatever, that they're not seeing things that aren't there. That what we call hallucinations are just simply tapping into a different
dimension,
stream of, I guess, like a different stream of consciousness, or something, and it's just an altered state of reality.
And that reality makes you into a caveman at one point. Yes.
Well, and this movie's kind of all over the place, and you know what? Maybe it's my rigid thinking because I'm always looking for themes or like motifs or lessons or more, just like kind of a point. And, he drops some early lines about religion, about how when he was a child and he was very religious, and then his father died and he fell out of it.
Yeah,
he said when he was a kid, he had all these religious visions.
And then when his father died, his last words were, what was it, nothing? Or like pain or something like that?
Pain. It was something terrible or something.
Terrible.
It was
that's
about,
it. I think it was terrible. And that was his, like, you can think like that's the last thing his father said. Like, instead of seeing lights and angels, it was just terribleness. It was nothingness.
Yeah.
So he's trying to find something else besides God to answer the questions of the universe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, then so I thought, they were going to have some religious motifs or falling out of religion motifs, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm interested in religion and falling out of religion equally. But no, it's never really brought up again, ever.
No, like, mostly we get a lot of imagery of, like, him describing, like, he's the devil throwing people off and stuff like that. We do see a lot of imagery.
Crucifixion imagery, yeah, devil like imagery. That's for sure. You do see that.
We see him and his wife dressed as old 1800s like British people drinking tea or something like that. In the very first one, you see him as a schoolboy, but he's still William Hurt, that age. So you see that. So you're just seeing, like, I don't know if, like, any of the images connected to the themes of what he was trying to experience exactly. Maybe I'm just trying, maybe I remember it wrong, maybe it definitely did. But I feel like it was just, like, a lot of weird images, and this basically him just trying to break to the fourth wall of reality.
Well, I'm certainly no expert on psychedelics, but the way I would assume that they work is, anything that you see is kind of something that's in the deep recesses of your mind, I would assume, because it's,
Well, yeah, went through the trauma, like, his first time he reenacted, like, he reacted his father's death. Then the second time he saw the images about his failed marriage and how he loved his wife and, like, the breaking up. Because that deep inside the mind, he does love his wife, but my guess it hasn't come out yet. So we see that, and there's a connection to that. I understand that, yeah.
Sure.
Yes, but once again, what loses me is when he becomes a caveman, and then he becomes a giant fucking ball of light.
Well, yeah, to the movie's credit, I actually really thought that the tripping scenes, so to speak, were really well done, because they're chaotic, they're arbitrary. It's not like typical stuff that you'd see. It's like you said, like him and his wife having tea in an old English garden. Like, that is something that's inexplicable, and it doesn't, I feel like a psychedelia thing, so often we just see it on film as, like, fun, wavy colors and stuff, but it's so much more than that. It is the mind, that, again, to my understanding, the mind trying just to project and find some kind of meaning in existence, right? And it's projecting all sorts of images. So I love the fact that during his tripping scenes, nothing really is congruent. Nothing really fits together, right? And like you, I get kind of lost when he becomes a caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not necessarily. I will say I was thrilled when he started morphing. I love the body horror. I'm a big body horror fan when it's done well. It didn't fit, but it was fun.
Yeah. So then he trips for the second time. He goes to
Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. Before this, he just did like sensory deprivation.
Goes to Mexico, has the visions of his marriage and stuff like that. He goes to Mexico. Gets introduced to this potion that shamans of an ancient Indian tribe from Mexico have been using for millennia, centuries, I should say, to connect with the spirit world, connect with your ancestors and stuff like that. And he finds, like, this is the key. This is how I'm going to find out. And we get a little bit of a key to the signs of him becoming animalistic, because once again, when he's blacked out, he doesn't know what's going on. Fireworks are everywhere. Little fireworks. It looks like, once again, this movie probably inspired a whole bunch of video music makers. This is what music videos should look like. There's fireworks in the background. There's goats. There's the Komodo dragons. It's just a bunch of wildness. And then, like, at the very end, we say, like, what happened? And it's like, you killed this goat. You see it you killed the lizard. I mean,
the lizard. Yeah.
You killed the Komodo dragon, and he's just like I didn't do that. That's insane. Like, why would I do that? And so he finds the contraption. He comes back to America, meets his wife and his kids, but continue testing. And this is where we get into the testing scene. One of the best things about it was the guy who played the doctor friend, who was just like, no fucking way this fucking happened. There's no fucking way. You and your drugs is this fucking ruin this fucking place. I ain't do this fucking shit again.
Oh, he was great.
But yeah, okay, so let's talk about the dialogue in this movie. This is the fastest I've ever seen somebody talk before, ever. Like, faster than Aaron Sorkin talking, It's just, like, constant motion. There's no stopping to it. They're always explaining what's going on. Not slowly, not trying to make us understand what's going on. It's just like, like, this could be the scientific experiment of the decade. You got the photons and the protons, and they got, it's all that stuff. Of course, no photons or protons, but, they're speaking so fast, this science gobbledygook, that we don't understand it.
Yeah.
At all. But everything sounds like it's the most important thing in the universe.
And I bet you the dialogue actually is scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
I would assume, anyway. I think that it would be foolish for them to just make up shit.
Yeah.
But, it does really come at you at a breakneck pace. And in some cases, I would say, like you look at some movies about science and science fiction, and you don't need to understand what they're saying, right? Like, the technobabble, so to speak, is just there as, a means to progress things. this plot is fairly straightforward. This man is, what starts as studying schizophrenia and trying to tap into other streams of reality, so to speak, kind of just devolves into a guy that loves tripping balls.
That's true.
That's what it seemed like. Am I wrong? Like, I know that there's more to it than that.
Yeah,
I know that there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But it really just kind of seems like he just wants to keep going and going and going. Maybe he's trying to fill some void.
He's trying to fill the void of his father, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe
explain an explanation of life or something like that.
Maybe.
And he does by finding out it's love.
Dude, just watch 2001. Like,
yes, yeah.
Just watch that and take a tab of acid if you want. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah.
But he's going through
He's going through some things. He hasn't give up, even though his friends be like, calm down, everybody calm down, and everything like that. And then the great scene when he finally goes under for the third time, they're listening to him, they're obsessed with it, and they're like, okay, this is it. And he's like, oh, I'm bleeding. He's bleeding from the mouth. He can barely talk.
Yeah, he can't even speak when he comes out.
Can't even speak right away. He's like, what's going on? What's happening? They took x-rays. I guess, I don't know, like, there was an extra bone or something of, like, an ape or something like that.
Yes.
So they take it to a
radiologist
technician, played by John Lacroix from...
Larroquette.
Sorry, John Larroquette from Night Court fame.
Yes.
One of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's in this movie.
That's on my list.
Yes.
He did the opening monologue for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really?
Yes. I believe Tobe Hooper gave him a joint to do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you ever watch it, he's the one that does... They never expected to see something so macabre. Oh, it's great. Yeah, Larroquette's great.
Larroquette's awesome, yes. He deserves those 3 Emmys.
I do got to watch Night Court.
Night Court is awesome, yes. But John Larroquette's in this movie, so that's
Drew
amazing.
Barrymore's in this movie.
Drew Barrymore's in this movie. I did not know that until TJ told me.
She and William Hurt make their film debut in this movie. Drew Barrymore, I don't even know if she's credited. Yeah, she's credited, but she's his daughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she doesn't have a line of dialogue, I'm pretty sure. But.
Yeah. So anyway, so they go into the X-ray technician's lab. They say like, oh, this is
gorilla,
like gorilla, and stuff like that.
Why did you bring me a gorilla X-ray?
Yeah.
How did you get a gorilla to sit still?
Yeah. And so they keep on arguing about science and stuff like that, and we're just going through it, and we're just waiting for basically the next time he goes through with it. And so at that time, this is when things get weird,
Yeah, now
it gets weird. Now it gets weird, yeah. Before it wasn't weird, but now it is really weird. He goes it alone. He tests himself alone because he really wants to do it, because he wants everybody to believe, people think I'm crazy, even though I've been saying I've been crazy for the whole movie, It's just like something like that. So it's like, I know this is real. You gotta believe me, Blair Brown. You gotta believe me. And so like he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the lab by myself, inject myself, or swallow. Sorry, he drinks the serum he got from Mexico, and then he becomes a caveman. He breaks out, attacks another god, breaks out, scares some people, goes to the zoo, kills a goat. Tries to fight an elephant maybe, or a tiger or something like that.
Yeah, he does get aggressive with the elephant. That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and then
the tiger knocks his ass
and then
out.
he's waking up the next day, human man again. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just, I still just don't understand. How do you become from, like, I guess his hypothesis you're saying is, like, we're connecting with a different plane of existence, right? And that plane of existence is combining with him through the psychedelics.
Yeah.
So it's affecting him. So it caused. I still don't understand how it caused him to transform into a caveman.
It doesn't matter. I think that there's something to it in that, the idea is, human beings have been taking psychedelics for like ritual purposes for, millennia, right? And I think a lot of it is it's like meant to, when it's done in terms of those rituals, it is almost to return you to your animalistic self, to remind you, to reset who you are. And, I always hear that term, it resets the ego. It's to return you again to like your primordial state and just reconnect you with nature. So I think that's kind of the idea. I don't know why that turns him into a caveman or a gorilla or a big gooey monster. But for the sake of this movie, you just got to roll with it, I guess.
Just got to roll with it, yeah.
I mean, I would have ridden with it more if it had just been him in his human form fighting the security guard and then going to the zoo, right?
Maybe that, too. Like, he thinks he's an animal man, but really he's not.
And that's what I assumed it would be, is that, oh my God, the doctor attacked me. But then the next day he wakes up and the news is like, oh, some ape-like creature knocked out the guard and rampaged to the zoo. And
because we did get that, like, some scenes you see that. You see, like, bumps coming in through his arms because you think, oh, like, it'd be cool, like, he's thinking that himself. But no, it's really happening. His arms are transforming. His body is transforming. And
see, I thought it was, because I've heard, people say that they have, like, after you take hallucinogens, you still have flashbacks. That's a common thing that people talk about, is you still get flashbacks every now and then. That's what I thought the transformation was, like, of his arm, when he's looking at his arm or his abdomen. And some of those scenes were cool because there actually was a sense of, oh my gosh, is this really happening or not? Like when he's laying in bed next to someone that he's
his student,
his student.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, is everything okay, doctor? And he's just like, oh, yeah, everything's fine, even though he's freaking the hell out.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But when you literally turn him into a caveman, kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, he became a caveman. Next day, he finally proves to people, like, this happened. See? It happened. We gotta do it one more time to connect to the...
I'm not crazy. I turned into a caveman, and I need to do this again.
Again, to connect to the next linear layer of life or something. I still don't know.
It's not really clear.
Not really clear.
It's not clear.
We gotta do it again. Sadly. And so they do it one more time. And then he becomes, I think he becomes Jesus. I think like at that moment
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd roll with it.
Turns to a giant. I have the birth of the Fantastic Four when that scene happens.
Fantastic.
Yeah, to see all those, see like light beams and stuff. You like the yelling Texas man to become the Thing. Bob Balaban's gonna become like Johnny Storm.
That's outstanding.
He's gonna become Johnny. Yeah, he's gonna become him. William Hurt will become Mr. Richards, and of course, Blair Brown will become Mr.
Invisible Girl. That would be too perfect, but of course that that energy conveniently knocks out Bob Balaban and Charles Hayde. Yeah. So it's only Emily, his wife, to see him and save him.
Yeah. And you see him. Okay, so first you see him. He now becomes he's a blob. He's just a massive blob in human form that's trying to, each other and then he becomes. Then the room becomes wet. There's water everywhere.
It's like a whirlpool.
A whirlpool is in the world somehow. And he is now trapped in a actual whirlpool, a psycho whirlpool of his own creation, I think. And either he became one or he became trapped in one. I'm still not sure. And like Emily, you see her reaching in, and it's like, Emily. And this is it. And like she's now naked, and she looks like a goddess herself. And they pull him out of it, and now he's pulled out of it. He's now returned to normal. So once again, not knowing, I'm guessing. Okay, so all that happened. Everything's wet still. Everything's broken. These guys are so knocked out. So then they go to the apartment, and now they're just arguing. Once again, this fast talking, and there's this arguing. It's just like. It's like, I don't know what to do. Like, we gotta keep on doing this. It's like,
damn it.
More, damn it. We gotta keep on doing this. We'll get more people. Like, and then
he's like Dewey Cox. He's like Dewey Cox when he's at the end of the movie, and he's like, I need more didgeridoos. 1,000 didgeridoos.
Yes. And then the guy who's not Bob Balaban is like, God damn it, we can't keep on doing this. This is against the laws of nature. And like Blair Brown's just watching over William Hurt, making sure he's not dead. And then so they leave, and this is the ending. This is the climax of the film. Everything's going good. William Hurt finally admits, like, I love you. I see that now. It took me to become the universe, I think, to see that now. And so that happened. And then he finally transformed his last transformation into a giant deformed ball of goo. And Emily tries to help, but then she becomes Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
So
she does.
Yeah, and so I have a aha. This is his aha moment from the band Aha, but Take On Me.
Oh, sure.
He bangs the walls. It's like, I gotta transform back to human William Hurt.
That was great. He just starts banging the walls.
Banging the walls. Like, I can come back with my power of love.
That's right.
And it happens. He touches Emily, and she turns back into normal because the radiation goo from him transformed her. And then they finally admit they're in love with each other, and they get back together.
Cliche.
And then The Power of Love plays by Huey Lewis and News, even though it hasn't come out in 4 years. So after this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to say that that wasn't an entirely accurate portrayal of the last few minutes.
Yeah.
Just because I'm sure any listeners that haven't watched this movie are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But that's a 100% accurate
portrayal of this movie, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what happened, yeah.
Yep.
So basically, we get some characters from these movies. We get some backstory. Once again, William Hurt's. He's basically not a tortured genius. Maybe he is a tortured genius. He's obsessed with death, obsessed with the universe, trying to figure out what's the answers for it because he's trying to, find out what his father went through, what he's going to go through, and stuff like that. Once again, he says he's crazy all the time. So we get something. We get something. At least the history shows some connection to each other. So that's good. There's a crazy bunch of shit happens, and then it's like this crazy shit happened so they could fall in love again. A lot of stretching. I feel like you can figure this out.
I would argue that you say they fall in love again. I would argue this is the first time they actually fall in love.
Yeah.
She's the one that proposes marriage, and he's like,
whatever.
I guess. You really want to do that? Fine.
Yeah. And then she said, if we get divorced, we get divorced. So it's just yeah.
So it took him nearly blinking out of existence to say, I love you. Thanks for saving me.
Yeah. Well, it could be death too. Anything. Yeah. Sometimes you have a near-death experience.
Oh, of course. But
and you realize oh wait, this is my family's been caring for me my whole life. I should care about them more, something like that.
And hopefully that's what it is. But is it true love, or is it just kind of a brief, fleeting hit of dopamine or something? I don't know. True. But all I'm saying is, until that moment, she'd put up with him for a decade,
almost
basically.
A decade, yeah.
Just a little ridiculous in my world, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
At least the power of true love seemed to win out.
Yes, exactly. As Huey Lewis and New says, the power of love.
Don't take money.
Whoa, the power of love.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yes. I did love the Doors in this movie. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Seeing them smoke weed, listen to Doors in 1967.
That'd be a fun party to be at.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a bunch of PhDs joints around, listening to the Doors. That'd be fun.
Talking scientific gobbledygook. We this is the next innovation of science.
Yeah.
Eating sandwiches.
Sure, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's the movie itself. Let's get into what we thought about the movie at least.
Sure.
I love weirdness. Weirdness is amazing. Okay, that's why I love David Lynch films. I've always been attracted to weirdness. Going as a kid who's somewhat isolated. Thinking, you're the side character to everybody's life. You find the weird stuff that nobody else wants. So that's what I did. I would watch Stanley Kubrick movies when I was in middle school. I would watch Pulp Fiction, even though I know Pulp Fiction is definitely. I shouldn't say Pulp Fiction. Okay, let's say I watched.
That's not a Stanley Kubrick movie.
It's not Stanley Kubrick. I watched Tarantino films. I watched Kubrick films. I watched what movie did I watch? That was weird. I watched some. I watched. You find listen to punk. You find weird comics. You do that stuff. You try to find
the fringe stuff.
The fringe stuff. You try to find that stuff, and it's always been interesting. Now, so a movie like David Lynch's. What was that movie we watched?
Wild at Heart?
Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
That's weird. I love that. It was great, Did it really have a story or anything to it? No, not really. It's a bunch of weird shit and a metaphor for the Wizard of Oz that really didn't have any connection to it. No. But, but I still love it because David Lynch is weird and he just projects nightmares onto the human world that we don't see or maybe we have deep inside and it is just throwing it out there into the world.
I still think of Willem Dafoe's teeth in that movie.
Yeah. Definitely.
Horrifying.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this was just too outlandish for me. Maybe this I don't know. It was just there's a fireball of energy.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, I wasn't too big on Wild at Heart, but Wild at Heart at least had a lot of character and color to it.
Yeah.
Not just physical color, but actual colorful characters.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie really didn't. The characters were more or less lifeless, I'd say.
Yeah. They're basically just people who just read the dialogue and then be like.
Pretty much.
We had some characters like William Hurt. There were some characteristics I should say. It's I'm an insane guy. That's it.
They're a little too one-dimensional. That's what it is, and at least that was my take on it. And don't get me wrong, they're very well acted. There's nothing wrong about. They're very competent.
I think Blair Brown showed some kind of affection, a little bit more.
Definitely.
But they're kind of just the same thing.
But we still don't really know much about what she wants in her professional life. We know that she wants to do something that he won't tag along with or support, I suppose, because they just have they have different paths that they're going down. But her unconditional love for him, which I guess could be seen as a strength, to me it almost looks like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't shut the fuck up about his tripping balls. It's the whole movie. That's all he talks about.
That's all he talks about.
And
yeah. But that's all any character talks about. This their work.
Right.
Even her. You know, she talks about the baboons. Like, they have daughters. We don't know them. Mm-hmm. They don't, like, does William Hurt have connection to his daughters at all? We don't know.
No idea.
You know, I guess this connection shows, I guess the marriage shows, like, his disconnect from reality or, like, the real world. You know, it just shows, like, he cares more about the mind itself than the actual human being in the mind. Yeah.
Up until 5 minutes left in the movie, the security guard who gets knocked out in one scene has as much characterization as the main characters do.
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely, yeah.
You know, at least Sailor and in Wild at Heart, Sailor and Laura Dern's character, at least they have, you know, characteristics. They grow throughout the movie, and they have chemistry together. I didn't see much chemistry between the characters in this one.
Yes,
personally,
definitely. But I will say that even with that, you know, this is still a very exciting movie. You know, you don't get much of the characters, but you get a lot with the visual effects. A lot with the cinematography of this film and the special effects of this film, which was very well done. Mm-hmm. I just found out who did that, but you know, I didn't have because of my half-assed internet research, stealing from the rewatchables. But once again, that kept me into the movie at least. So, like, I don't know if I would rewatch this again. I don't know. Like, I would say maybe it's just to somebody like, yeah, watch it once because it's a wild, fun ride. No matter what, you get to see a bunch of crazy shit happen, and you know you don't really need much after that. You know. So, yeah. So if I were to give this movie a rating, I would give it 3.5 stars out of 6. You know, the characters and story-wise not that great, but the special effects, the cinematography, the psychedelic breakdowns, you know, help age this movie. You know, help covers up a lot of blemishes. You know, so yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. This one, you know, I kind of agree with some of the stuff you said. This was an interesting one to try and rate because, you know, like the psychedelia, bad trip stuff was really well filmed, and I thought it was probably very realistic in just how sporadic and arbitrary some of the imagery is for it. Acting is solid, but like the movie's message or lack thereof is so ineffectual ultimately. I don't really know what the point of the movie is or the point of the story is. And it's not necessarily a drawback because a movie doesn't always have to have a moral. I don't need a movie to have a moral or even a point so much. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, Wild at Heart didn't really have a point.
Yeah, or the new Miyazaki movie, The Boy and the Heron. I mean,
it's just a spectacle.
It's a spectacle. There's a lot of ideas that a director has thrown at you, and you just got to figure it out.
Right, but my analytical mind, I can't help it. So this is what I wrote down. My takeaway was that this preaches healthy use of such type of, you know, perception-altering substances, be it sensory deprivation or hallucinogens. You know, too much of anything is never really good, right? So, like, when you look at, like, how the indigenous tribe in Mexico takes this, it's part of a ritual. It's a ceremony, and it's kind of implied that it's not an everyday thing, right? When he's doing it, he's not doing, you know, they do it also to get in touch with, you know, the afterlife or
the ancestors,
right, to kind of be introspective, to try and touch base with their humanity and nature itself, their animalistic side, right? He's almost like fueled by ego.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and he's going about it for all the wrong purposes. So he just keeps pushing and keeps pushing and keeps pushing, and what that ultimately does is, it brings him back to his primordial self, but it almost completely erases him. It almost ruins him physically.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's, I guess, able to reset the ego and set aside what he's been working on this whole time, presumably, and get with his, you know, finally love Emily, love something other than his work. I don't know. That's kind of that was me making sense of this, me internalizing this wacky story. There is indeed a lot to like about this movie. If you are into weirdness.
Visual effects, definitely. Mm-hmm. There's one scene where it's his wife and him, and they're in the desert, and the sand washes over them until they become sand themselves. Sand sculptures.
And
they
pretty cool.
disappear into the desert.
Very creative.
That was cool.
It was very creative.
Again.
But the movie is it is too fast paced for its own good.
Yeah.
Characters are one dimension.
Mm-hmm. Even the psychedelic trips are just too fast paced because once again it's like music video esque. Like I can see like just like short clips of singers just singing a song while the backgrounds of changing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't even necessarily bother me because like that would be kind of a harrowing experience to be around this tribe of people you don't know and you're like tripping balls around them. It would be interesting, but I all in all, it's not that I disliked the movie.
Yeah.
Or didn't even necessarily enjoy it because there was a lot of what the fuck factor to it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a movie I connected with ultimately, and it's probably not one I'll rewatch. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 6. I was inclined to give it a 2.5, but throughout our conversation, I think you've kind of made some points that helped me give it a little slack. So I will give it a 3 tabs of acid out of 6.
Yeah. I am interested in seeing the rest of Ken Russell's filmography. It is on Criterion, a lot of it. There's a lot of films even more weirder than this one. The Devils, specifically, I believe, I don't know if Tommy's on there, but also Listomania. His 80 filmography, I heard the film after this is like one of the filthiest films ever made, so I'm definitely excited to see that. But yeah, I'll definitely want to check out more Ken Russell's film because I don't know, I don't know a lot about Ken Russell, but before he's a British filmmaker, and from what I read on the internet, usually British films were just kitchen sink dramas about life growing up in Britain and stuff like that. But he made it into a spectacular
Morrissey song as a movie.
Morrissey song as a movie. No, he made it as a spectacle. He made movies as a British film spectacular. A spectacle. Something to see with your eyes and your ears instead of just watching a sad person grow up in old England times and how bad the Troubles were, something like that. So it's really interesting to see how he makes films, how he crafts them. So yeah, I definitely want to check out more of his filmography. Maybe not horror. Maybe it is horror. Maybe one day I'll be like, no, I'm just gonna watch horror. Whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah. So those are our thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed those. Let's get into what other people thought. This was Ebert time.
Ebert time.
Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Enough.
Siskel.
Not enough time for Siskel.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's give our attention to what Roger Ebert thought of this film. Roger Ebert gave it 3.5 stars. He says, quote, Altered States is one hell of a movie, literally. It hurls its characters headlong back through billions of years to the moment of creation and finds nothing there except an sonic scream of no! It's not written like that, but I decided to add emphasis to that quote. As life force protests its moment of birth, and then the power of the human ego to insist on its own will, even in the face of the impeccable indifference of the universe. It turns no into yes! And ends with the basic scene in all drama, the man and the woman falling into each other's arms.
Powerful.
Altered States is a sublime, silly movie, a magnificent entertainment, and clever, brilliant machine for making us feel awe, fear, and humor. That is enough. It's a pure movie with very little meaning.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, he goes on to saying about Russell's directorial style. The formula is now clear. Take Russell's flair for visual pyrotechnics and apocalyptic sexuality and channel it through the just enough scientific mumbo-jumbo to give it form. The results may be totally meaningless, but while you're watching it, you are not concerned. So yeah, that's what Ebert thought in the movie. I agree with him through mostly all of it. It isn't just a bunch of psycho gobbledygook. That's all it needs to be. Because it's still for fun time, and, if you want to go through silly gobbledygook, watch this movie.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Letterboxd gave this an average of 3.7 stars.
Okay.
I love some of the reviews here, some of the best ones. Riley, 3.5 stars. Man will literally turn into a gorilla instead of going to therapy.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. That is outstanding.
Writer Fran Hoffner says 3.5 stars. Cautionary tale about letting him hit it because he's grad school.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And Maviz, Maevez, liked the movie. Did not give it a rating. A trippy movie about everything a man has to go through to be able to say, I love you back.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. That's very, very well said.
Yeah, so those are the positive reviews. The negative reviews, C. Newberry gave it half a star, and this wrote November 28th. That's it. That's his review.
Okay.
It's November 28th. Jay Watson, half a star. Return to Monkey. No Y. There's Monk.
Ah, classic.
Return to Monk.
That's a meme, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, Return to Monkey. That's it. And Invisible Man gave it half a star. Or no star, sorry. And wrote basically a shit version of Werewolf 1996, which has a rating of 1.9 stars on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Yes. So that's shittier than that movie.
Jeez.
The awards for that season. The Oscar noms for this film, only 2. Best Original Score, John Corgliano, sorry if I butchered these names, and Academy Award for Best Sound, Arthur Piantassori, Les Frisolts, Michael Minkler, and Willie D. Burton. All nominations, none of them won. For the 1980s Oscars, we already covered this. Best Picture winner, Ordinary People, Coal Miner's Daughter, The Elephant Man, Raging Bull, and Test. Very heavy award season.
Yeah.
Any of these
heavy hitters there.
Yeah, heavy hitters. People say Raging Bull should have won. I have not seen Raging Bull.
Me neither. We'll put it on the list.
Put it on the list. Some people say it doesn't really hold up that well, maybe. Maybe just Robert De Niro's performance that stands the test of time.
Maybe.
Not the movie itself. But people say that Raging Bull should have won, but we'll get into that once we watch Raging Bull, of course. But I've seen, you've seen Elephant Man. The movie was very good, really well acted. I wouldn't say the best of David Lynch, but definitely the best to come. The Coal Miner's Daughter is also a great film. I've listened to the podcast about Ordinary People, a very hard-hitting film that really gives into the depths of trauma in family and how to deal with that trauma. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tess, I believe that one's about a famous actor from the 1940s or 50s who had various mental issues and people thought she was insane and she was in a mental institution, but she's trying to get out. The top 10 films of 1980. Number 1 was Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. Is that your favorite Star Wars original?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the best.
Yeah. We've gone over your ranking before, right?
I believe. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I think.
So my guess, I think it was for you, it'd probably be Episode 5, 4, 3. No, sorry, 6. This is my guess for you.
Yeah.
5, 4, 6. And then prequels, my guess 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And then new ones. Actually, say new ones, it goes 7. Is it 7, 8, 9 or 9, 8?
Yeah, it's 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 3 really good Star Wars movies.
3 really good Star Wars movies.
And then the rest average out to be okay.
Yeah. 2 was 9 to 5. 3 was Stir Crazy. Gene Wilder and
Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm. Not the one where Richard Pryor's a toy for a little child.
No, it's the one where they're in prison, yes.
Yeah. 4, Kramer vs. Kramer, still coming off 1979 because it was released in December.
Great movie.
Yep. 5, Any Which Way You Can. I believe this was the sequel to the Chip movie of Clint Eastwood.
Nice.
Yes. Number 6, Private Benjamin. A good movie. Kind of details out at the very end. I feel like there should have been more military action at the very end. Show that Goldie Hawn characters, like her own woman. Even though it does show that, but I thought it could have been done in a better way. Mm-hmm. But yeah. 7, Coal Miner's Daughter, a really good film. Susie Spacek, I believe, won the Oscar for that. Number 8, Smokey and the Bandit 2, proving that if you have Burt Reynolds in a car, you'll get a hit.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
Number 9, The Blues Brothers.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And number 10, Ordinary People.
Fucking ordinary people. All right.
Ordinary People. Fun facts about this film. The film debut of William Hurt, the lawyer / cyborg himself. Patty's novel was based on the work of neuroscientist and dolphin researcher John C. Lilly, who invented the isolation tank and first started taking drugs while tanking. Lilly's work also inspired Mike Nichols' early dolphin movie, The Day of the Dolphin.
Ooh, cool.
Lilly was an uncredited scientific researcher on both films. William Hurt says he knew little about Ken Russell prior to filming. They met together. They stood around in an office for an hour with a radiator and a tiny desk with a chair. And then they finally sat down, and then William Hurt saw Betty Boop socks on Kurt Russell, and it's like, sorry, on Ken Russell, and it was like, I gotta work for this guy. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So Betty Boop.
I'll have to wear those socks.
Yeah, bringing people together. Who would've thought?
Apparently.
And then Blair Brown says in an interview that some of the cast and crew actually went into the tank, and William Hurt actually hallucinated, and Brown found it very peaceful.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's it.
Very cool.
That is all of Altered States.
Go watch it if you
Go
want.
watch it if you dare.
Yeah.
Mwahahaha.
You might be pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
Um,
Or I think it's Batshit Insane.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way,
maybe Dracula comes out. Who knows? Okay. Maybe I did that voice because Dracula's in the movie. Okay.
Maybe we didn't spoil everything.
Yeah.
Played by Drew Barrymore.
Played by Drew Barrymore.
Oh man.
There was the original Letters Vampire. Drew Barrymore in Altered States. Yeah. So that's it, guys. I don't know if you have a game. But that's fine. This has gone on way too long. It's an hour 30 now.
We'll push it to the next one.
Push it to the next one. But the next one is the last one of our series, which is 10.
Yes.
So we're going to see Bo Derek's boobs, I think. I think so. I don't know.
In the cornrows, right?
In the cornrows, yes.
Whew.
Yes.
Nice.
A movie that also lost the time 10. I don't know where we're going to find it. Probably somewhere.
Yeah, no shit. I didn't think about that when I,
We can probably find it in that local library. A great source for all entertainment and educational needs.
I will see if I can find it. We'll find it. We'll find it.
We'll find 10. Yeah.
If not, we'll watch Tarzan the Ape Man.
Yeah, we'll find that. Yeah. Oh, Werewolf, 1996. So,
sure. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. He is that Werewolf 1997 actually has a Mystery Science 3000 episode. So
nice. That'd be fun to watch.
That'd be fun to watch. Yeah. Yeah, so that's
They do our work for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Mo, and goddamn motherfucker shit, cock motherfucker shit, damn it.
And I'm TJ, and I'm going back in the tank after this.
Oh shit, I just realized we're going to be demonetized. You can't swear in the first 10 seconds of a YouTube video.
Son of a bitch.
Oh well.
Can you bleep it?
I can do something. Oh well, fuck it. That's our show, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Here is Robert Mitchum playing us out. Bye.
Adios.
If you like the show, please follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. We also have Twitter accounts at it_dammit for new episodes, and on our Facebook page, It's Still New to Us.